I'd like to call to order the City of St. Charles City Council meeting for Monday, June 16th. Roll call, please.
Gem. Spellman.
Here.
Petrilla.
Here.
Wirbel.
Here.
Essner.
Here.
Weber.
Here.
Fokaitis.
Here.
Folks.
Here.
Bungard. Munz.
Here.
Okay, tonight we're going to have Alderman Petrilla give tonight's invocation.
Let us begin by acknowledging the importance of this gathering and the decisions that will be made. May we be guided by wisdom and compassion in our work. Amen.
Okay, thank you. And then Alderman Gem, if you could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody. We're going to start tonight's meeting with the proclamation celebrating the 2025 Juneteenth. Whereas on June 19th of 1865, 2 months after the end of the American Civil War, Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas to enforce the Emancipation Proclamation President Lincoln issued 2 years prior. And whereas on June 19th became known as Juneteenth, the day celebrating the end of slavery in the United States. And whereas on June 17th of 2021, Juneteenth officially became a federal holiday, and recognition of this day reminds each of us the promise of equality for all Americans. And whereas the City of St. Charles commemorates local Civil War veteran Private John Maxson, who volunteered to join the only black Civil War regiment in Illinois, and after witnessing the events on June 19th in Galveston, moved to St. Charles, remaining here the rest of his life. Now, therefore, I, Clint Hall, Mayor of St. Charles, do hereby proclaim June 19th of 2025 to be recognized as Juneteenth in St. Charles, a day to reflect on our nation's past, present, and future, to celebrate the freedom, the culture, the achievements, and the contributions of Black Americans to our nation, and to honor equality and opportunity for all. Signed, Clint Hall, Mayor. Okay, Alderman Fokaitis will now present the omnibus items for a vote.
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the omnibus vote as presented on tonight's agenda.
Munz, second.
Okay, roll call.
Gem.
Yes.
Spellman.
Yes.
Petrilla.
Yes.
Wirbel.
Yes.
Essner.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Fokaitis.
Yes.
Folks.
Yes.
Munz.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. There is no old business. We will now go to new business. And we will begin with the presentation of a recommendation from myself to approve the appointment of city administrator for fiscal year 25-26. May I have a motion to approve that recommendation?
So moved.
Weber will second.
Okay, motion made by Gem, second by Weber. Are there any questions or comments on the recommendation? Okay, roll call.
Gem.
Yes.
Spellman.
Yes.
Petrilla.
Yes.
Wirbel.
Yes.
Essner.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Fokaitis.
Yes.
Folks.
Yes.
Munz.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next up is a recommendation to approve a resolution authorizing and directing the mayor to execute and the city clerk to attest to the execution of a certain employment contract with Heather McGuire as city administrator. May I have a motion, please?
Move for approval. Second.
All right, motion by Wirbel, second by Gem. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Gem.
Yes.
Spellman.
Yes.
Petrilla.
Yes.
Wirbel.
Yes.
Essner.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Fokaitis.
Yes.
Folks.
Yes.
Munz.
Yes.
Okay. So, Heather, on behalf of the city council and myself, I want to congratulate you and tell you that I know that the city's in great hands with your leadership as city administrator, and we're really looking forward to another great 4 years. So, thank you. Next up is item C, presentation of a recommendation from myself to appoint department directors for fiscal year 25-26 as recommended by City Administrator Heather McGuire. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments? Okay, roll call, please.
I'm sorry, the motion was by,
I'm sorry. Motion by Besner and second by Warble. All right, roll call.
Gem,
Yes.
Spellman,
Yes.
Petrilla.
Yes.
Wirbal,
Yes.
Messner,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Kulkaitis,
Yes.
Folks,
Yes.
Munns.
Yes.
Okay, and so on behalf of myself and to all the department directors, same message. As the new mayor, over the last 30 days, what I've learned is just how incredible a team all of you are. You know, it's just something that when you're the outside looking in, you don't necessarily have the same view because you don't have all the information. But on behalf of all of us, I want to congratulate you. I want to thank you, and I want to tell you that it's a high bar. I know you're going to meet it, and we really look forward to working with you. So again, congratulations. All right, next up is item D, a recommendation to approve a resolution rescinding a previously adopted resolution number 2025-79, authorizing a construction contract with SKC for the 2025 crack filling program in the amount of $110,000. Peter is here, Peter Sir is here to talk to that.
Thank you. Good evening. The next two items really are housekeeping items and correcting a mistake that we made at the last government services meeting. On my staff's recommendation, City Council approved the contract for the 2025 crack filling program, which is one of our street maintenance programs, to SKS Construction. We had a second bid that we received from Dendler Construction with very similar competitive pricing. And both of those bids were significantly under our budgeted amount of $150,000. So since both bids came in under budget by about 50 grand, we proposed to increase the quantity of work to be done to take advantage of those favorable prices and to get a head start on next year's program. It's something we do from time to time, especially if it's under budget by that much. Unfortunately, when we made the calculation to increase the quantity of the work, we inadvertently changed the lowest qualified bidder unfairly to Dendler Construction. So we didn't realize that, this honest mistake, until after City Council approved that, but we're here tonight to correct that. So therefore, the next two items are simply to first rescind the resolution to the City Council approved for the SKS construction, and then secondly, approve a resolution authorizing the construction contract with Dendler Inc. for the same work in the amount of $96,632.50. We have talked with both companies and communicated with both of the companies. They completely understand and understand that this is the right thing to do and would support our proposal to you tonight.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve?
Weber will happily approve paying $14,000 less for the same work.
Okay.
Second.
So there is a motion by Weber, second by Warble. Okay, are there any questions or comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Gem,
Yes.
Spellman,
Yes.
Petrilla.
Yes.
Wirbal,
Yes.
Messner,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Kulkaitis.
Yes.
Folks,
Yes.
Munns.
Yes.
Okay, and item E, which Director Sir already talked about, looking for a recommendation to approve a resolution authorizing a construction contract with Dendler Inc. for the 2025 crack filling program in the amount of $96,632.50.
Moved by Munns.
Okay, moved by Munn, second by Gem. Any questions or comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Gem,
Yes.
Spellman,
Yes.
Petrilla.
Yes.
Wirbal,
Yes.
Messner,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Kulkaitis.
Yes.
Folks,
Yes.
Munns.
Yes.
Okay, moving to item F, I'm looking for a recommendation to approve a resolution authorizing the mayor, city clerk, and acting police chief to execute a settlement agreement and a general lease agreement between Jorge Alejandro Rojas, the St. Charles Police Department, and the city of St. Charles, Illinois.
Move for approval.
Okay, there's been a motion by Warble. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second by Besner. Any questions or comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Gem,
Yes.
Spellman,
Yes.
Petrilla.
Yes.
Wirbal,
Yes.
Messner,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Kulkaitis.
Yes.
Folks,
Yes.
Munns.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, now moving on to committee reports. Alderman Weber, is there anything from the Government Operations Committee?
There is nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, Alderman Weingart is not here from Government Services. Turning to Planning and Development, Alderman Warble, is there anything from Planning and Development?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so we will now turn it over to public comment. Is there anybody here that would like to make public comment? Okay? All right. Step on up and please state your name.
My name is Stephen Leffler. I'm a 10-year resident here, and most of you folks know me pretty well at this point. I've got several items I want to go over. I'm not going to be here for the next 6 weeks, so I wanted to go over a few things real quick, and I'll make it as quick as I can, and then I've got a few items that I'd like to enter into the public record.
Under no time pressure.
Okay, well, nobody else is behind me, so I won't feel too pressured, but I want to keep it.
Okay.
I want to respect everybody's time.
Thank you.
First, on the matter of transportation, Springfield has set the cut public transportation funding, and we need to have other forms of transportation just besides everybody hopping in a car and going everywhere. And the easiest way for us to do it within our community is for us to improve our bike situation. Our bike paths are nice, and we have a lot of them, but they're meant for leisure. They're not meant for transportation from point A to point B, because you got dogs walking and you got guys on that crazy one-wheeled surfboard, and people just aren't paying attention. So it'd be nice if we could have a more dedicated bike lanes throughout the city. Looking particularly at Illinois Street, between the library and the school, Oak Street, all the way out to Costco, Dean Street, where a lot of folks head on that way to go to the industrial area, 3rd Street, where it meets up with Anderson and Geneva. It'd be nice if we could get that. It's a nice wide road. It'd be nice if we could do something better there. And same with Prairie and Horn. Most of these roads have lots of cars littered on them by people who are parking their personal cars on our private road, or their private cars on our public roads. And I think we should consider taking the cars off the road and creating a dedicated bike path on these locations. We also need to consider adding some roundabouts in a few places. Dean and North, Prairie and 14th, Foxfield and King Edwards. These are all, it would all be much better for circulation if they had a roundabout instead of the 4-way stops or 3-way stops. Also regarding the transportation, we've had some issues with people hot rodding around town. And it creates a lot of noise, it creates some safety issues. It'd be nice if we could look at doing speed tables or traffic furniture, or at minimum, some temporary speed bumps during the summer when this is more likely to be occurring. One of the places I would like to see it is in front of my condo over at 1st Street and Cobblestone. The northeast corner of Riverside in Illinois is dangerous and not ADA compliant. Wheelchair can't get through and stay on the sidewalk. There's a lot of traffic that's going there that's turning. And if you've got any group of people or you got bicyclists, that becomes very congested right there on the northeast corner opposite Pollyanna. A 4-way stop at that location and at Illinois and 1st would definitely serve us better from a safety standpoint. It would cause everybody to slow down instead of people rushing down the hill of 1st of Illinois and trying to make the light. Everybody would have to stop there. And it would save us some money on, on the lighting fixtures, on the stoplights. Parking at Whole Foods is going to be a problem. They put their signs out there. I talked to some of the people that work there, and they're looking at probably having 60 to 70 employees there at any given time. There's roughly 50 parking spots that are open currently every day when I walk through that parking lot. And we need to have a plan for when that place becomes overloaded, and perhaps talk to all of the downtown businesses and try and coordinate a business-wide downtown parking plan where everybody goes to maybe the 5th floor or the 4th floor of the parking deck and parks the employee cars up there. There's places like Menards that do that where they outline everything in blue for all of their employees to park. We need to have a plan. Also, the matter of youthful indiscretions at the parking deck. You know, I sent a couple of you guys some ideas on that, and I've attached those ideas here so that they can be spread so everybody can see them. And I talked to a lot of our future customers who are upstairs or up on that parking deck every Friday and Saturday night, and they could be coming here, but we're wanting to push them out. So we run the cops by once or twice, but they don't have the staff to handle it properly and to keep somebody up there. So in the interest of time, that's one of the things that'll be attached to what I give for the public record. Whole Foods will be open until 10 o'clock with cheap carry-out food. That was one of the things that they were saying was a problem for them. They're not really welcome down to the restaurants, and it's too expensive for them. Most of these kids are under 21, and so they don't feel as though they can go downstairs to Alter or McNally's or any of the other places. But they're going to find that that cheap food at Whole Foods on the hot bar, and they're going to be open till 10 o'clock, and that's going to be what's going to be an additional draw for people from all over the community, not just our community, but for 10 or 15 miles in each direction, they seem to come here. They're too old to drink, they're too young to drink and too old to skateboard, and we need to give them some things to do. Our goal should be to make them welcome, ask them to be quiet, the community, and try and keep things safe so that there's no drugs involved, so that they're not throwing stuff over the edge, like the fire extinguisher that went over the edge. We don't want anybody climbing up on the walls, and for these reasons, I suggest, like we had at Wind Down Wednesday, we get a security guard or two to man that area when we're seeing a lot of folks up there. The Union Pacific, the train bridge that goes across the river. Every day I see kids walking across there. And it was brought to my attention by one of the young men who I was talking to on that roof deck that the safety cable that runs across the top, that's supposed to be nice and taut, it's no longer nice and taut because the buckles have rusted away that hold it in place. And so now they're sagging, and this is making a dangerous situation even more precarious. So it's not our property, it's not the city's property to do anything, but it does belong to the UP, and it would be a shame if anything happens to any of our kids. So we should notify the UP and put the liability on their table, not on ours. And perhaps that can help us move along a little bit more quickly with the negotiations that may or may not be happening with them. Regarding budget, the grocery tax, I think you guys should vote yes on the grocery tax. Something like 67% of the revenue that will be brought in by the tax will be from out of town. You know, the residents of other communities are coming here, going to Jewel on the east side, going to Jewel on the west side, going to Whole Foods, going to the other places in the other grocery stores in our community. It'd be a smart move. The city pays $1.25 million per month in debt service. That's our biggest expense. And we're proposing, and it seems as though a new well on the east side is on autopilot. $17.5 million. We're borrowing the money, and yes, it's at a discounted rate that we're borrowing the money from the state, but it's still extra debt burden that we don't necessarily have to take on. It would be great if we could see, before we finalize everything, if we look at the possibility of trying to conserve some more water. I will include with this an example of how Roseville, Minnesota, population 36,000, achieved a 40% drop in per person water use over the last decade through a multi-tiered, multi-pronged approach at saving water. And lastly, everybody's favorite topic, the IMEA. Don't sign the budget. Don't sign the contract. We have 10 years to put a plan in place. I think we can develop our own renewable solar and battery program. We need about 1,200 acres of either rooftop or green space. There's plenty of it over by DuPage Airport. There's plenty of it out west by the youth home. We can do this. King County Fairgrounds is another one. You think DuPage might be a weird thing to do, but DuPage Airport, but Dulles Airport is doing it, Phoenix is doing it, Kansas City is doing it. We just need space. We can lease land from them and put up our own solar battery program to feed into the city. We need 130 megawatts of juice. We can take the time to develop that over the course of the next 10 years. And with that said, I've got taken up enough of everybody's time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and have a wonderful trip.
All right, thank you.
Okay, are there any other comments from mayor, council, or staff? Council or staff, anything on council? Anything from staff? Okay, from the mayoral side, I just want to announce that the city is proposing a 12-year extension on the First Street Tax Increment Financing District. That was originally set to expire at the end of 2025. The amendment was filed with the Circuit Clerk's Office on June 5th and is available for public viewing. City staff presented and met with all the impacted taxing boards and successfully obtained the letters of support. And in 2025, the Illinois General Assembly formally approved and codified the TIF extension. With the state approval now in place, the city must complete the local approval process. Those interested in learning more about that may contact the city clerk's office or visit the project website on the city's website at www.stcharlesil.gov. Other than that, I will then ask for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
All right, a motion by Warble, second by Gem. Roll call, please.
Gem.
Yes.
Spellman.
Yes.
Petrilla.
Yes.
Wirbal.
Yes.
Gessner.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Kulkaitis.
Yes.
Volk.
Yes.
Muntz.
Yes.
Okay, we will now take just a momentary recess, and I'll turn it over to Alderman White.